I go to the whiteboard of how many days without a Dark Knight reference, and I erase it and write zero. LCP days gone without referencing Dark Knight.
Days without TDK.
Yeah. Record recordings without TDK.
Lazor Comb.
We are not going to panic.
What the heck even happened to you, man?
Vengeance.
Shrimp Daddy! Ha 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 ha!
Give him a hockey stick!
What am I, fucking magician, man?
Am I some kind of fucking magician, man?
Fucking nerd!
Whatever. It's not like we're professionals anyway.
And I'm not sorry anymore.
Time to big brain.
Every day, yes.
What is the airwolf of trains?
Good evening, Savage Dargans. Welcome to episode 117 of the Lazor Comb podcast, the show where we comb through random episodes of classic TV with a fine-tooth laser. I am, as always, one of your hosts, the Savage Siege.
And I'm your other host, the Savage Dargans, Neo Cal.
This week on the Lazor Comb podcast, we're continuing on with Image Comics Month, which is also a Patreon pick. It's a bit of a twofer. It's a programming block and a Patreon pick. And if you want to get in on that, go to patreon.com/lazorcomb, LAZORCOMB. Yeah, we're continuing on with Image Month, and well, we're talking about the Savage Dragon.
Chicago. Ordinary cops were losing the battle. The criminal mastermind called Overlord and his super freaks held our city in their terrifying grip. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the dragon.
Now, for a little bit of a refresher, Image Comics was founded in the early 1990s by a bunch of superstar artists who had previously worked for Marvel, who were tired of the whole work for hire thing and wanted to actually own characters they created. So they all left Marvel.
The audacity.
I know, right?
The audacity.
Actually wanting to make money and own your creation. So they
Savages,
left.
Really.
Savage Dragons, even.
Savage Dragons.
So among them were Todd McFarlane, Mark Silvestri, Jim Lee, and Eric Larson. There were a few others too as well. Rob Liefeld and a couple others whose names are escaping me right now.
Yeah, you remembered more than I would have.
Jim Valentino, I think, was another one.
Yeah, right.
He did Shadowhawk was his Image book.
I was big know that because of you.
I was a big Image Comics fan when I was a kid, so I was reading comics in the 90s. The Savage Dragon was one of the launch titles for Image Comics. It was created by Eric Larson. He writes and draws. I almost said writes and directs. He writes and does the art for, I think, every single issue. And the Savage Dragon comic is still going to this day.
Really?
Yeah, I think the only two original Image books that are still going are The Savage Dragon and Spawn. And the Savage Dragon is even more impressive because Eric Larson himself has kept doing it. Todd McFarlane fucked off on Spawn, like
Yeah, I was
after.
going to say that's not. It switched hands. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
he
not Savage Dragon.
no, he's
Holy
Eric Larson. He's still doing it.
I wonder if that's the longest any one artist has been doing like a run.
It's definitely it's definitely up there. I know Spawn holds the record for the longest running, or with most issues, I believe, independent comic book series in history. And
Spawn, yeah,
Spawn, yeah, and I think Savage Dragon's is a pretty close second to that.
that's wild.
Yeah, very impressive. I didn't read a ton of the Savage Dragon comic when I was a kid. I was kind of a mature reader's title, so the comic store wouldn't sell it to me.
Son of a bitch.
But I did watch this cartoon. This is kind of an inverse of Wildcats, whereas Wildcats, like, I didn't watch the cartoon much, but I read the comics. Savage Dragon, didn't really read the comics much, but I watched the fuck out of this cartoon. Now, the episode we landed on was season 2, the 15th episode overall, season 2, episode 2, She Fiend.
She Fiend.
Which originally aired on September 25th of 1996. Now, I remember watching, and I didn't understand this at the time because I was like 12, I think. I remember season 1 and season 2 of this cartoon were different. Season 2 was a lot darker. Season 2 had a different theme song, a theme song I'm very, very fond of compared to the season 1 theme. So I did a little bit of research, and this episode was written by Bob Forward, co-creator of Beast Wars, and the guy who just so happened to write the episode of Wildcats we reviewed a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and if I recall, because we had looked it up when we rolled the episode for Savage Dragon at the end of episode of the last episode, he had done 2 episodes.
He wrote 2 episodes, but he actually took over as showrunner. He was the showrunner for season 2 of Savage
he was
Dragon.
the showrunner for all of season 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So season 2, as I mentioned, when I was younger, I noticed that season 2 was a little darker, different theme song. The animation was a little grittier. Bob Forward took over as showrunner for season 2. Season 2 got a new composer, and season 2 was done by a completely different animation studio.
So completely might as well be a different show, other than in name.
Other than in name, and the voice cast stayed the same.
Or yeah.
Now, boy howdy, speaking of the voice cast, this episode is a who's who of, hey, I know that voice.
Yeah.
We've got the Savage Dragon himself, voiced by the legendary Jim Cummings, who is so ubiquitous with Disney to me that him voicing the Savage Dragon actually takes me out of it a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
That's fair. Yeah.
She Dragon in this episode is voiced by the great Jennifer Hale, who over the years I've often referred to as the female Jim Cummings.
That's funny. That's fair.
And the reason why is because both legendary voice actors, both have done a million things. But the thing is I can always pick their voice out no matter what they do to it. No matter how they alter their voice for different characters, I can always be like, that's Jim Cummings. That's Jennifer Hale.
Jennifer Hale. Am I crazy, or were they femshep?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. See, that's the most I had ever heard her voice, because we're talking about a 100, 200 hour experience. I'm being attacked by cats. Hello, can I help you? Yeah, He's like, I want attention. Well, come here, asshole. Um,
Yeah, make a cat cameo.
come here. Come here.
Everybody,
Make a
everybody,
cameo. We're cat friendly here, dang it.
everybody loves cats on a podcast.
Right? What the heck was I saying? Oh, that's the most time I had spent with hearing her voice.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the voice associated with it. And then I started going back and watching other things and Disney stuff and whatever. And I'm like, why does everyone sound like Shepherd? And then, like you had said, I like looked up the voice actress. I'm like, oh, it's because everyone is. There's like 10 voice actors in the world that do 90.
I always associate her as being Felicia Hardy / the Black Cat in the 90s Spider-Man
That's
cartoon.
fair. That's fair.
That's the first thing I ever heard her voice in.
That's probably the first thing I heard her voice in too.
And so for me, that's what I associate her with the most. We've got the villain in this show, Overlord, voiced by the late great Tony J. Megabyte.
I can't not
Megabyte in Reboot.
I can't not just hear Megabyte.
Perhaps controversial opinion to the Reboot fan base out there, but even though Tony J was did voices in like a million things when I was growing up. Honestly, like for me, I mostly associate him as the Elder God in Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver.
And and that's like something that you played through multiple times and loved.
I adore that game. Recently a remastered version came out, I
love how there was a flip. Like, wasn't there like a instant like OG game and like remake like button or mode that you can like flip back and forth? And
yep, that's pretty common in remakes / remasters now. I think the first game that I ever saw that did that was the Halo remake that came out back in like 2010 or 2011. You could in real time press a button to like switch the graphics mode.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But yeah, so Tony J, Megabyte and Reboot, but I mostly associate him with the Elder God from Legacy of Kain.
Yeah.
Who else? Rob Paulson was a voice I picked out right away. He does what's his name? Octopus, the octopus gangster guy.
He's the bald human. He looks like a Kingpin upper body or White Morpheus upper body, and he just has octopus lower body.
Just octopus tentacles.
They don't call them mutants in this, do they?
They call them freaks. Super freaks.
Yeah.
He's a super freak. Super freak. He's super
freaking.
Dear. Rob Paulson, you may know as the voice of, I think it's Raphael, the Ninja Turtle. He does the voice of one of the Ninja Turtles, and I think it's Raphael. Who else is in this show? Dorian Harewood does the voice of Lieutenant Frank Darling, the older cop guy. I believe Dorian Harewood was also the voice of Shredder.
Oh.
Let me just... Yep, he was the voice of Shredder.
Oh, cool.
Let's see. Renee... character's not in this show, but the character of Horde is voiced by the late, great Renee Aubergenois, who was Odo on Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Wow, you weren't kidding when you were like, oh boy, let me tell you, this is the who's who of voice acting.
Let's see. Frank Welker does the voice of a character named Arachnid. Frank Welker is the voice of Megatron in G1, Transformers G1.
Oh, that's right, because there's a ton of henchmen in this episode.
And in this show in general. Let's see. Paul Eiding, who does the voice of Colonel Campbell in the Metal Gear Solid games. He has a recurring role in this show. Robert Picardo, the Doctor from Star Trek Voyager. Neil Ross, the voice of the Green Goblin in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon.
In the 90s, yeah.
Damn. Michael Dorn, Worf himself.
I was going to say, wait, we got motherfucking Worf up in here. So they just took some Star Trek. Uh, let's get all the gang together.
So, like I said, this show is a real like who's who of hey, I know that voice.
It is, yeah.
Um, so to get into talking about the episode proper, episode opens with oh geez, I've watched this episode twice now, but oh yeah,
There's a cop chase.
so there's this like this fiend like flying around, this big like kind of like specter thing flying around.
Basically, it's a Jinn, like a Jinn.
Talking about how I want to feed on hatred.
So it's a Jinn, or yeah. So it's a Jinn, and it's translucent to imply that normal people can't see it.
Yeah.
At the moment, right? It's some sort of spirit, and it's very plain as day telling the viewer. People talk out loud even when they're by themselves, as kids' cartoons are want to be. And it's flying over Dragon City. It's
Chicago.
flying over. Oh, I forgot that Image just does real real cities. Flying over Chicago, and it's like, oh, I can't wait to feed on like someone's hate. And it goes and like goes after someone. There's a cop chase.
We're introduced from there, I believe. When we're introduced to She-Dragon. She has a little monologue about how, oh man, it's the anniversary of my father's murder at the hands of the villainous Overlord. I really got to get my revenge.
I hate him.
And so the fiend is all like,
kind of like he jumps in her body a little bit later, but the gist of it is that he's like, oh yeah, that's good hate. That's good hate. Let me in there. And she's like, ew, no. And he's like, I didn't ask. And the gist of it is, and it implies that we've seen this before in season 1.
Yeah.
That the racist, the shamelessly racist and hateful bad cop named Officer Niceman.
Officer Niceman, yeah. I think someone was having fun with that name.
So just like, how do I say it? So there is in the X-Men comics, you know how there's in the X-Men comics, you know how there's just open hatred for mutants.
Yeah.
Not only is there open hatred for freaks, I feel like they need a different label. Freaks or super freaks or whatever. But apparently even the police get in on it. Because he's like, oh, Roger Breaker, I'm coming, I'm chasing down, I don't know, some freaks that work for Mr. Overlord himself. And Savage Dragon in his cool Jeep.
Yeah.
I said, come over here, you brat.
Yeah, Octopus
he's like, I'll give you backup. And he's like, I don't need no backup from a stinking green loser freak like you.
Yeah, because Octopus is driving a truck that has 3 new super freaks in the background to add to Overlord's army.
And I laughed at this. So Officer Niceman, a normal cop, a human cop in a human car with a human gun. He wants to he's like, this is my bust and my bust alone. Don't try to take it from me, stupid, like, thin head. They always come up with clever insults for him. Then 2 laser machine guns come out of the bad guy truck and start shooting the police officer, start shooting the police car, and he immediately flips the car and crashes. What are you going to do in a world where like there's X-Men and there's super weapons and there's like people impervious to bullets and stuff like that? Maybe ask for backup. You're a liability if you're not.
Yeah.
So he flips the car. It doesn't show if this guy died. Like, I didn't know that this was a recurring character.
To
So
be
I
fair,
assume
this
that
guy
this
is
guy's
like a total like beefcake though, even though he's not super powered.
he's just an average cop, and the dude's like 6'5", like 280 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
Barely fits in the car, right?
Like put this guy in a fucking bat suit.
Right. So the car flips, it's on fire, doesn't show him crawling out, and then Savage Officer Dragon rides past him, doesn't slow down or check to see if he's okay, and he's just like, I told you you'd get your mattress wet. In reference to being like, oh, you're gonna wet the bed. No, I'm not, man. And I'm like, oh wait, Officer Dragon is kind of sassy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Or at least when it comes to assholes.
There's another episode that I used to watch a lot because I had it taped. But it's an episode that has Arachnid in it. And Arachnid is like Dragon throws Arachnid in like a prison cell, and he's like, you can't hold Arachnid, on what charge? And he's like, well, for one thing, firing an unlicensed missile launcher at a police officer. And Arachnid is like, so this is Chicago. And Dragon responds with, yeah, well, just because everybody does it doesn't make it legal.
10 out of 10.
It's a good line.
That's a good line.
Yeah, it's also a season 2 episode. I remember when I was younger, even then, like thinking season 2 was better than season 1.
And from what it sounds like is the budget went up, or at least the creativity behind it. Like you said, it also kind of tried to be more mature.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
yeah.
Maybe for like the like kids in like the 12-year-old range as opposed to like 8.
Yeah. And there's a lot of like, holy man, if you want like giant mutant people like getting punched through fucking walls, like 800-pound like shark men that are rippling with muscles, and they don't have a neck or a head,
yeah.
It's just a fucking shark head coming out. I'm like, hey, Street Shark's in this episode. I think it's funny because She-Fiend grabs Street Shark Man by the neck and like lifts him off the ground and pins him against the wall, and I'm like, but he's a shark, and his neck was like as wide as my shoulders, and her hand only covered the middle, and I'm like, would that do anything?
Maybe that's where his weak spot is.
It's where his G spot is. And it's like, oh no, don't squeeze me or I'll come.
It's like it's like massaging a Ferengi's lobes.
Yeah, between the gills. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'm just going to keep edging you unless you tell me where Overlord is. And he's like, no.
So, She-Dragon shows up to help with the fight. And, Savage Dragon is telling her, like, hey, you can't go after Overlord.
He-Dragon, like, if you will.
He-Dragon, yeah. He-Dargan.
He-Dargan and She-Dragon.
Tells her, like, no, I can't let you go over Overlord. I'm a police officer. I will get him. But I can't have you going after him. And she's like, oh, come on, why not? And he's like, well, innocent people could get hurt. Look, like me and you are freaks here, so we're tough as nails. But have you seen these humans? They're fucking weak.
Have you seen these pathetic, weak ass fucking humans? Like you throw one car at them. By the way, this is for 12-year-olds. Let me tell you, if you want to see like giant dudes throwing cars at like giant robots, it's got all that and more.
Even in the intro, which by the way, I'm very fond of. I like the theme song to this show, to this season 2 theme in particular, and I like the intro. But literally in the intro, there's a really cool shot where Dragon is being shot at. He leaps over a car, grabs the car,
over a car, uses it as cover and like pushes it over onto its side.
Lifts it onto its side, not even just pushes it, straight up just like grabs it, lifts it onto its side, and uses it as a shield while like a robot shoots at him. It's fucking
And
cool.
then throws it at him.
And then throws it at him. Yeah, it's fucking cool.
Little things like that, like the cop rolling over the car move.
Yeah.
Because he's so big, he doesn't slide over the hood. He rolls over the entire fucking car because from like foot, that's why he has the Jeep. Doesn't have a top on it.
He's so big, he wouldn't fit in a regular car.
Yeah. So the fact that from foot to fin, he's as long as a car, and when he does the cop hood slide, he just rolls over the entire car. And this is in the intro. I was like, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I was big fun. The intro sold me like before the episode even ran by.
Sweet.
Not to tip my hat.
Oh geez, where were we? Anyway, so
oh right, the heist that they're all doing. All three of them there. We forgot Lady Cop.
Oh yeah, Alex.
He's got correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like his relationship with She-Dragon and Lady Cop is platonic.
I think in the comics, now I didn't really read the comics much. I've read a few issues of Savage Dragon here and there over the years, but I think him and Alex had a thing. I don't know. I don't remember it being in the show, but I think in the comics they had a thing. Him and She-Dragon, I think, yeah, their relationship is just platonic. And
I kind of like that more than it's like, oh boy, like they're both the same, so like they're gonna like fall in love. I was like, is that gonna be the case here? But he said sister or something like that.
No, he was just being like, now listen here, sister.
Okay, so he was using it as a what's the term? Not colloquialism. As a term of endearment, as a term of endearment, or like, listen here, brother.
Yeah.
What's the term I'm looking for? Who cares? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm running on very little sleep.
Some sort of colloquialism. Who knows how to say colloquial or Worcestershire? I am going to come and get you.
He knows how to say it.
Yeah, he knows how to say it. In fact, in Cantonese,
that's what he was doing. He was screaming it at you.
Yeah, he was screaming it at me. In perfect Cantonese, he was saying colloquialism.
Colloquialism.
Like colloquialism. Thank you.
It is an awkward word, yeah, to be fair.
Worcestershire? Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Is it Worcestershire?
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire? I just went to Google and was like, pronounce Worcestershire. And it says Worcestershire. I've never heard that in my life. You're finding it with us live on episode 117 of the Lazor Comb podcast. Worcestershire? Really?
It is a ceremonial county in the West Midlands of England.
Worcestershire? I had no idea that it was Worcestershire. Did you?
I'm playing on Wikipedia. It has like a spoken like pronunciation thing.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. Wow, well, fuck me. I've been pronouncing that wrong. I've been pretending to pronounce it wrong my entire life because I can't actually say it. And little did I know, everybody that had corrected me all throughout my life also pronounced it wrong.
Well, you know what? I don't like it either. So I'm just not going to say the word ever again.
I'm never going to say colloquialism or Worcestershire again. I know how to say both of them now. I'm taking its power away from both of those words.
I don't like how it's pronounced. I don't want to mispronounce it and sound stupid, but I don't like how it's actually pronounced, so I'm just never going to say the word again.
I don't like you, so I'm not going to reference you
I'm going
ever
to
again.
refer to it by its brand name, Lee and Perrins.
That's the real power move.
Checkmate, county in England.
Checkmate county in England.
Oh, geez. So,
He dragon, Alex, and she dragon. Um, so Octopus Man,
yeah.
that guy tries to escape like 7 times. For the love of God, can backup comes? He gets away so many times
So
in like a 10-minute span.
I thought this was funny. She Dragon grabs Octopus Man and is like, "Where's Overlord?
Where is he?
And he's like, I have the right to remain silent. And she's like, I'm not a cop. Do you see a badge on either of these puppies?
And I was like, to my partner, I was like, she just said, I'm not a cop. Do you see a badge on either of these puppies? By the way, she wears
She's talking about her
a
boobs.
ring girl. She's talking about her boobs. She wears not a bustier, but it's not like a corset because it's also a one piece. It's like a super unitard. Like anyways, some sort of corset built-in unitard kind of like thing.
It's like a singlet.
Right? Some sort of singlet. Yeah. Sleeveless singlet. And I was like, oh, damn. She flirting with Octopus Man? Is she trying to catch more flies with honey?
Damn, girl.
Damn, girl.
Damn, girl, you got going on there.
I just got to say, would.
Yeah. Would.
Both he dragon and she dragon. What'd that fin do?
You see the size of those biceps? My God.
Have you seen the size of the biceps? He is comically and allowed to because it's not just like he's a GI Joe. He's like literally like a mutant person.
He's very oddly proportioned. Like you even over the credits at the end of the episode, there's an image of in the bottom right corner of the screen. It's an image of Savage Dragon from the comics as drawn by Eric Larson, and he's got like tiny little legs, massive shoulders, massive biceps, very long, almost gorilla arms.
Surprised he doesn't run like the Hulk, or like he doesn't have like a kind of gorilla stride. Maybe it's a pride thing. Like he could run faster if he gorilla'd it.
Maybe.
But he's a cop, god damn it. And he has some pride. But he does seem like he should run like a gorilla.
Yeah. I'm with you there. So
he definitely leans forward when he runs.
Yeah,
like so that his center of mass is.
You can tell by my background.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I was pointing my thumb at his crotch.
You like that, brother? So what ends up happening in this scene is she dragon gets possessed, and what we find out is the evil hate Jin, or the hate spirit, or whatever it is. I'm going to say Jin.
The fiend.
The fiend. They know who this is, and it has a name, and you can't kill it. It's like a spirit, right? And it even calls them out on that. It's like, oh, are you going to stop me from inhabiting this body? What are you going to do? Hurt me? You can't kill me.
Girl, look at that body.
Girl, look at that body. Oh. Now, here's the thing. She dragon transforms when the fiend takes over her. So it's kind of like orange. I like that her outfit magically changes, so she has a cape.
Yeah.
Much more animalistic, less like attractive face.
Yeah, it gives her kind of a venom face almost.
Now you said wood before. Still wood?
Probably not.
Fair.
Probably not.
Fair.
That the cape does add something though.
The cape adds something. So from behind, yes.
It's very
Otherwise, no.
very
Yeah,
fabulous.
it's fabulous. Yeah.
The fiend possesses she dragon as we mentioned, and uh, the dragon is like, yeah, like I'll stop you, and she fiend is like, oh, we're in this. Me and her are in this together. Would you, like you said, risk damaging this body? And he's like, I'll do whatever it takes. And it reverts to she dragon's regular face, and she's all like, no, dragon, don't. And he's all like, and then her face goes back to the fiend face, and it's all like, ha ha, got you. I called your bluff,
Right.
basically.
And then we also find out. So throughout the episode, we find out that well, she fiend combine their names, I guess.
Yeah.
It wants what it doesn't just possess and take over her and then go off and do other things. It is help the personality of this new individual is kind of both of them.
Yeah. Well, it feeds on anger and hatred and vengeance. And so by helping her to track down Overlord, the person that she hates and wants to get revenge against, it like allows it to feed. It's
Instead of just going home and forgetting about it for a while and watching like Jeopardy. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's all like this is like this is
It's
like
going
speed.
to pursue it.
This is like speed for this thing.
Yeah, and it's all right. Oh wait, let's go get this motherfucker. And so goes on a vigilante montage of her like punching down doors and lifting up random like mutants and being like, "Where is he?"
Oh yeah, Nice Man. I thought this was hilarious. The standoff between She Fiend and Dragon is broken up by a random missile
A random missile that comes from the sky, not from like a direction, from the sky.
from the sky.
And it almost blows both of them up. And under the cover of that allows She Fiend to like escape.
To escape, and then
Officer
we see
Niceman comes up with a ripped uniform, like his sleeves are ripped off of his like uniform.
Yeah,
And he's holding a gun, but then he says, "Oh, you looked like you could use some backup." What did he shoot that missile with?
drones.
The gun? Drones, police drones.
Yeah.
Because he's holding, and it's a futuristic like tech gun. Because remember, like we don't shoot bullets, we shoot lasers in these.
It was common in 80s and 90s cartoons, yeah.
But apparently missiles are still, because missiles never hurt. They just make an explosion that sends debris everywhere.
Well, and indeed, we had missiles in Wildcats as well. With the big
missiles,
with the
okay.
Big button that
Bullets,
said missile.
no. Bullets, no. Lasers, yes.
Lasers, yes.
Yeah,
Laser combs.
lasers, yes.
Yes.
Lazor combs. Imagine a real laser comb.
Imagine Dargans.
I'm trying.
Imagine Savage Dargans.
I don't need to imagine Savage Dargans. I've got it right here. I've got two for the price of one.
Oh,
two
shit.
Dargans. Yeah.
Double the fun.
And I like that there's wardrobe changes in the show. Now hear me out. I like it when things are impermanent in the way that, for instance, when he's exploded or punched or shot, something hits him. Maybe it's Octo Man or something like that, and he flies through a wall.
Yeah.
He comes out and his uniform's all torn up, and he's got like a tank top like underneath, and just like the pants, and is like he's smoking and stuff like that, and he just rips off like the last bit, and he's like, okay, no more Mr. Nice Dragon or like whatever. And we see that with Officer Niceman too.
Yeah.
He's like, his sleeves are like ripped off, and I almost wondered if it was a different character, but then because of how much of an asshole he is, I'm like, oh, it's the same guy. And he's like, last time I give you back up.
Yeah.
Because Dragon is like, you almost blew me up. What the hell was that? And he's like, oh, that's some way of saying thank you. And then he like tosses the gun onto the ground and walks away. And I'm like,
Gee, the last time I do you any favors.
right. And he's like, well, somebody could have got hurt. And he's like, there weren't any people nearby. And Savage and Mr. Dragon is like, oh, right. Because he knows this guy doesn't consider like freaks.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Because
that
he's like,
now.
you could have hurt somebody, and he's like, there weren't any people nearby.
He's like, well, what about... Oh, right. We don't matter. We're just freaks.
See, her and we're freaks. And so he walks away and he goes, picks up like Alex, and they go after I don't know, he escapes and gets recaught like 5 times in a row, this octopus man.
Well, and somehow, and I can't remember how, and as I mentioned, I watched this episode twice, but I am a little sleep deprived side.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had a long day, people.
We can only imagine so many dragons.
We can only imagine so many dragons. I've seen many dragons today, as it is. I can't remember how, but the 3 super freaks that Octopus was delivering, even though Octopus gets caught, somehow the freaks end up with Overlord. Because now Overlord, apparently 3 was the magic number. That's what he needed. Now he can launch his plan to attack City Hall.
It's a magic number.
Yes, it is. It's the magic number. Good song.
What you want?
Very good song.
There's your royalty-free magic number. 3 because he needs, what is it, 2? He needs 4 vans with exactly 2 freaks, and was it 2 or 3? Anyways, there's an exact number. I think it's 2. I think it's 8.
Yeah.
And he had 5, and he needed 8.
3 was the magic number. That's exactly what he needed to launch his plan. Also,
because
where are these super freaks coming from? He's like, oh, I finally have enough super freaks to complete my army. It's like, what did you like go and buy them from like the super freak store?
The super freak store called. They're all out of you. Does he just go and find them? Like, what's the recruiting campaign? This isn't like the Foot Clan where you're like, there's an endless number of them.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're just like the city's shitty and like whatever. It's all like, haha, now I've got enough. But like enough wasn't like 20, 25. It was like, it's like more than half a dozen. And I want to know the logistics. By the way, he's like, not like the city will be mine. He specifically wants to attack City Hall. That is such writing for kids. The idea that like, if you take over City Hall, you're like, oh, I'm in charge.
Wasn't that the villain's plan in that episode of SWAT Cats we reviewed a while back too?
Yeah, and so now I've noticed a trope that I didn't notice existed before. As a bad guy, you just need to take over City Hall, and they have to. Everybody in the city has to listen to you. You're the mayor.
Yeah, now you just rule the city.
I don't make the rules.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly
did.
that. I don't make the rules.
So 8. He needs exactly 8, including himself, because he's like, well, now that they're off, it's time that I go in my separate vehicle with who was knocked out, Sharkman. So 10, I guess 9 other freaks and him. That's when he enters double digits, he can take over City Hall.
There's like a robbery or something going on at a jewelry store, and I thought it was hilarious because the building says Crown Jewels, but Jewels is spelled Jewls. It's missing an E.
Now that can either just be for fun, or it could be a typo. But
this is Billards all over again.
I did catch Billards. My partner actually caught like Billards, and that was a typo because like 15 seconds later in that Wildcats episode, they spell it correctly.
Hmm.
Uh, and I'm not saying that they didn't do it on purpose, but that it was a typo, purposeful or not. Billards. I like to think we got a glimpse into the Wildcats. Sorry, the Image Comics multiverse there.
Yeah.
And when he walked in, it was Billards, and when he walked out a man. I mean, billiards. Uh,
Oh, what
I
else
didn't catch the
happens?
jewels. You
Jewels,
said
yeah. Jewls. Jewels.
jewels,
Jewels.
jewels.
Crown jewels.
Let's see
There's
if
a
that's
I put a screenshot of it in the Lazor Comb Discord.
there's a musician called Jewels, spelled like that.
Oh.
I wonder if I don't think they're from the 90s, but I also don't care enough to look them up.
I'm sure I'm sure it's completely unrelated
Probably.
if I had to wager money.
Hey man, they would have had to pay people extra money to spell jewels correctly. Think about that.
That is true, yeah. It would have taken slightly more time and thus cost slightly more
Yeah.
money.
I wonder if that's common in a scene where you're only going to see the name of a building like for 10 seconds, maybe less, right? I wonder if it's very common practice to just like shorten it for cartoons.
Yeah.
Oh, these fucking kids ain't going to notice. And indeed,
And indeed, I'm only
they
noticing
didn't
it because I'm
as an adult.
watching it at 40 years old with the
Yeah.
ability to easily pause.
There you go. The future is now, is what we're saying.
Future is now.
Future is now.
I don't like it. Let's go back to the past.
Let's go back to being young men together.
Let's jump in Rufus's phone booth and GTFO.
Oh, so we stay the same age, but we just go back to when housing was affordable.
Yeah.
Question: can we bring our money with us?
Uh,
Probably not, because it would be different.
doesn't matter. Don't have any anyway.
Doesn't matter. And housing would be cheaper anyway. So it's a
Yeah.
win-win.
Housing would be
A
cheaper.
dozen eggs would be $1.50.
Oh man, doing what I do for a living now, people in the 80s used to get paid way more to people used to get paid way more to do what I do for a living. Now, I've heard stories.
Like in comparison to the like inflation versus like wage.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You could actually apparently the culture wasn't that great. I work in a grocery store. Apparently, like back in the day, the old school like culture was kind of like toxic, but they made a fuckload of money back then doing it. There was a time where being a grocery store worker was quite lucrative.
Is that a segue from a sidebar from like getting back into the episode? But have you ever noticed in like 80s teen movies, like grocery store workers are kind of like seem to always be prevalent, or there's always a scene in them, whether it's people running through knocking things over or like the cashier like having to like listen to like somebody's like woes. Like the cashier is the therapist trope.
And like you would always see the boss. The boss was always like a well
Wearing a tie
like,
and
yeah.
wearing a tie and always like standing somewhere on the end and
Yeah.
always like had his arms crossed and
They could afford
well,
to pay
that's
people to literally just bag groceries.
right. Different times, folks.
Different times. Different times.
Different times. We can't all be question. If you could time travel back to the 90s, but you're like a literal like mutant, like Savage Dragon.
Okay.
That's the caveat. Would you?
Well, actually, like if I could be a mutant, like this big, like hulking, like strong, like powerful,
Impervious to bullets and yeah.
like like specimen, hell
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I'd probably get captured and like thrown in Area 51 for like the rest of my life, but
I always wonder if there were like actual mutants, how much media, how much would you need to public publicly like announce yourself in order to not be nabbed and everything covered up about you? You probably
hmm.
have to go on a news station as soon as your powers like manifest.
Yeah, or you keep it a secret, try your best to keep it a secret, but like you end photos of you, like grainy, like black and white photos of you end up on like the cover of National Enquirer.
As you're like flying and like pushing a bus back onto a bridge
Yeah.
as it's like precariously balancing. What a there's another trope. Bus drivers. We need you guys to be more mindful of bridges and overpasses. The number of times it's specifically a bus, I get it because the stakes are high. That's why it's a trope. It's not like two, three people falling off like a cliff or whatever. It's usually a bus full of children or just a bus of people,
And
right? But
Superman, I feel like more than any other hero deals with this problem on the regular.
specifically buses.
Specifically buses full of school children about to go off a bridge or having already gone off the bridge.
So is it a problem with bridges or buses? Or is it like the walls of a bridge are like the kryptonite to school buses? Nothing smacks through them better than like a bus full of children.
That's true.
There's some food for thought. Mr. Dargan himself.
Mr. Dargan. So I think She Fiend, the
Yeah.
bank robbery that was going on, She Fiend interrupts it, and that's how she finds out where
Right.
Overlord
Because she's
is.
looking for other freaks that are like working for him
So
to shake him down.
yeah. So she gets told where Overlord is. Meanwhile, Mr. Savage Dargan himself is literally just going to like chop shops and shit in like a trench coat and just beating people up until they tell him where Overlord is.
So his outfit was ripped. So he goes and he grabs a trench coat. This is off the books, I'm guessing. And he tells the chop shop freaks that oh, I traced that getaway vehicle back to this place. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? This was, and this is in the 90s too. What do you mean you traced back?
I mean, he has a cell phone. We see it later in the episode.
Radio. That's a radio because
Oh,
he
was
says,
it?
"Can I borrow your radio?" Something must have happened to mine.
Oh,
And
because
it's wet.
it flips open and it looks like those like not the big like brick like cell phones, but like the
Not the
first like flip phones from like I don't know like around like 93 or 94. It's kind of
Yeah,
what it looks like.
my aunt had one, but he does say it's a radio.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because he's like, "Can I borrow your radio, partner?" But yeah, he's like off the books, and he's like, "Go ahead, resist arrest. I dare you." And he fights some guys, and he's like, "Where is he?"
I dare you. I double dog dare you. I fucking dare you. Do it. Come
Go
on,
ahead.
do it. I want
Come
you
on.
to do it.
Come on, I want you to do it. Resist arrest. Come on, come on, come on. Well, I have to erase the thing and now say 30 minutes. Time recording without referencing the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
We need a whiteboard with now per minutes. And then
And
I
just
pause it whenever we're done recording, and I hit enter whenever we start again.
And just to complete the cycle of our overused references, dun 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 dun.
Dragon?
Snake.
Jargon. Brum, 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 brum. Well, the Colonel's in this episode.
He does do a voice in the show, so
He
it
shows
kind
up
of fits.
later to the end. Yeah. what ends up happening? Oh, there's a trap. So he does find Overlord, but Overlord's got like, I don't know, a button on the wall, and he's like, haha. And he falls into like a floor trap.
He falls into a floor trap with these two like big like cylinders with spikes on them spinning that are
With
like
blades, yeah.
with blades that are like closing in on Dragon. And he does something very odd here. He takes his badge and throws it up into the air to burst one of the pipes so water will run down. And then underneath the floor where he is, in this like weird like little opening hatch, which I'm like, why don't you just climb down there yourself?
Right.
It's this big like square like hole like in the area that he's in that has like the motor for these like blade drum thingies. So it's like, why don't you just climb down there?
Oh, is that what
Throwing your
is that what
badge-
he was trying to do? Was he trying to disrupt the machinery with water?
with water? Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that, because I was like, what? Now he's gonna drown? Like, what was his?
It's
I don't understand. Thank you for.
either way, like no matter which way you spin it, it's not a great plan.
Hey man, when you're gonna die, that's all I had. And indeed, listeners, the plan does not work. There's a drain in the bottom of the cell, and he's like, well, but right before he gets chopped up, certainly after a commercial break, it just stops, and his partner's there.
Yeah.
How convenient of the bad guys to walk away from the James Bond trap.
Well, it stops. It stops because the water does flow underneath, and we see it like shorts out the machinery underneath. But the trap stops in a dramatically and just the nick of time before it eviscerates the dragon.
Eviscerate the dragon. Copyright, trademark. That's our Eviscerate the Dragon.
That's a good album name.
Right? That's our Lazor Comb that we can't have laser drag. We can't have blood dragon, but we can have laser dragon.
Eviscerate the Dragon. That is the debut album of the Lazor Comb Power Metal project.
There we go. Lazor Comb Power Metal project. Eviscerate the Dragon.
And hell, that's the name of our power metal project too. And our first album is just self-titled, Eviscerate the Dragon. Yeah. And every single song on the CD is called Eviscerate the Dragon.
Okay, well, we may be a little bit more creative than that.
There will be a trilogy, Eviscerate the Dragon parts 1, 2, and 3.
There we go, because it is going to be what's it called? Like saga
concept album.
Yeah. It's going to be a concept album. And you have to listen to it in order.
Yeah. Otherwise the story won't make sense. Yeah.
Eviscerate the Dragon, parts 1, 2, and 3. So what ends up happening? They get saved, but Overlord pieced out to go assemble his freaks in trucks.
Yeah. And so the trucks are then depart and are on their way to City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
The dragon ends up fighting Overlord in a pretty in some fisticuffs.
And there's a back and forth, and between like She-Fiend gets the drop on him at first, but he's too powerful. And then
he's like, She-Dragon, I know you're still in there.
What a
please.
We've talked about this trope like 700 times, and it doesn't bother me, but in this it is so heavy like his partner is about to die, and he's just got blinders on to like, she's even like, stay down or I'll shoot. Dragon, little backup here. She says this like 4 times.
Yeah.
and she's backing up and he's standing back up, like powering up. And she's like, Dragon, seriously, you are my partner. I'm going to die. And he's just holding like she fiends, being like, I know you're in there. It's like, you don't have to seek like vengeance. I'm going to get him. And she'll be like, what? Why are you so like determined? And it's not, this is what I appreciated. I will give it this instead of being like, because I love you, babe. Um, or like, oh, because I care or whatever. He's like, oh,
Because I because I can't
because I
take my
care,
because I can't take my eyes off of them puppies.
because I can't take my eyes off of them puppies. Ooh. They might not have a badge on them puppies, but they got my face. No, he's like, because I care, because it's my job. I'm a cop. And I'm like, I see we still loved cops at this time.
The
Cops, the job of choice for boys in the 90s, in the first half of the 90s. I'm telling you, they wanted to be a cop or a firefighter.
that was me. Yeah, I wanted to be a cop.
Mm-hmm. Right. And what ends up happening?
Because I'll get it done because I'm a cop. Because it's my job.
Because it's my job. And well, when you know it, that seems to work. Because the fiend's like, no, and kind of like is going in and out of her, and there's this like dramatic like moment, and
Then it goes into
dramatic like
Overlord.
scene. And then it eventually goes into Overlord because as he steps away to fight and give him the fisticuffs, there's a burly brawl moment where the camera, they both jump in the air at each other.
Yeah.
And he's like racing towards him anime style. And then the camera switches and it shows Overlord going towards him as they like clash. And then as they like explode apart away from each other, he's like, I hate you, dragon. I'm going to destroy you. And then the fiend, who's barely holding on to She-Dragon, is like, did somebody say hatred? And like flies off to go invade him. And then he does a
The sweet, sweet smell of hatred.
I can taste it on you. You are saturated by it.
I can taste your stink. It's repulsive. Oh,
It's the
Matrix.
smell.
There we go. We're hitting all of the classics
Metal
today.
Gear. Yeah. The Dark Knight, Matrix.
Yeah.
One day we'll not reference any of those three. And I don't know, we win a prize or something. What ends up happening? There's some like explosive, looks like a fire extinguisher that goes off, and Alex is like, we gotta bail. And they leave.
Time to fade, heroes.
Time to fade, heroes. And they all run away. And the place explodes as he's fighting the possession. Overlord is fighting the possession, shooting lasers out of his hand. No. And the building collapses.
That's kind of a dance right there. Just shooting lasers.
Dance like you're being possessed by a hatred, Jen. A hatred spirit. And it's like, oh, hopefully that the building collapse took care of Overlord for us.
He's the main baddie. Of course it didn't. Come on.
Also, they have supernatural endurance, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
of course it didn't.
Uh,
And there's kind of like and then everybody talked it through and everything was like, okay.
What about the trucks at City Hall? They should be there by now. Oh, I don't think we need to worry about those. And for some reason...
Oh, so my creative writing when I was in elementary school was like this, where I forgot a plot hook at the beginning or even in the middle. And I was like, oh shit, how do I resolve this? These were only supposed to be like 1 page or 2 page short stories. So all of the bad guys, POV, your freaks getting ready to invade um, um, town hall. Um, they all jump out of the trucks, being like, "Ah, here we go! City Hall is mine!" And they fall off a bridge. I can't remember what bridge that's like supposed to be, but like a big ass bridge
Some
into
Chicago bridge.
some Chicago bridge. They fall. Um,
And so
and it shows Commissioner
Frank, Lieutenant Frank something.
the Colonel.
So yeah, apparently
Somehow they hijacked all of the trucks, the police.
And instead of parking them in front of City Hall, they backed them up to the side of the bridge so the super
blocking
freaks
all the lanes of traffic
would leap out off of the bridge into the water.
cool down. And they make some pun about they can cool off for a bit or whatever. But it shows some of them not in the water being arrested and hauled away.
This is dumb. I'm not going to disparage.
If they just never showed this, I would have been fine going, hey, I wonder what happened to those guys.
I'm not going to trash the show too much because I actually like this, but that is a very dumb way to resolve that. And because I like the show otherwise, it's a little bit more forgivable.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Makes me wonder.
Could you imagine if Ed, and Eddie resolved the plot this way?
That would make the episode better. Because the episodes of Ed, and Eddie end worse than just dumping them into a lake.
Right.
Because then at least it'd be like cool off and like, I don't know, if the police dumped those kids into a lake to laugh at them, at least it'd be like, that's weird.
Well, where I was going with that basically was like, imagine if like a show we hated resolved a plot in this manner. It would be like,
I see.
It wouldn't.
Luckily, that's not the main plot. Yeah.
No.
Luckily, that's not the main plot. It is very strange that it's a plot at all.
and in fact, the whole City Hall thing is actually pretty incidental to the overall plot of the episode. Yeah. I don't know. Structurally, this episode's kind of the script's not great.
And that's saying something because we love Bob.
Well, Cal, you just caught a random episode of Les Savage Dargons.
Les Savants Dargons.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, I did.
Would you tune in next?
It's my favorite wine type, Savant Dragon. Savant Dragon.
Your French accent is much better than mine.
Oh oui oui, Savant Dragon. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Le fromage, le fenêtre, la table. All the other things I learned in grade 2. I only know that fenêtre is window because of the word defenestrated.
Really?
Defenestrate, to throw someone out a window.
Oh.
Fenêtre. There you go. We're learning today.
We're learning all kinds of things.
Savage
today.
Dragon word of the day, fenêtre. Yeah, would I tune in next week? That's hard. It's all over the yes. Because I have questions like so the bad guys in this, they're not like mutants where, oh, this guy can freeze things. Oh, this guy can shrink or whatever. They're so super human that they regularly fly through 4-foot like brick walls, dust themselves off and get back up. Can they even arrest these guys?
I mean, they do.
Some of them, but the others they dump into the ocean, or sorry, the lake ocean.
Yeah, these aren't mutants.
That harbor. Well, the lakes are fucking huge, but the ocean next to Chicago, lakes, people.
Yeah,
I know where Chicago is. It's in Illinois.
The Great Lakes.
Those are fucking big, and they do have their own tides. That's how big they are. I would tune in next week because I want to see what else it has.
Yeah.
And normally it would be like, the writing was all over the place and whatever. But the fact that if you have question, like for me, a thing is if I have questions and I think the show might answer some of them or the show might be interesting. Talking about the human, all of these shows like X-Men, they try to they try to analyze the human condition by introducing non-human characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Racist bad cop, Mr. Niceman. There's no accident like there.
Yeah.
It's race. It's not even a hidden analogy for racist cops.
Yeah, totally. Well, and
right.
I mean, unlike it, like say mutants in the Marvel universe, the super freaks are like, they're super powered, but they're like,
they're not accepted at all. It seems like
they're like if circus freaks had like powers, basically.
Oh, rather than it being kind of like a subclass of human,
Yeah,
it's like even stranger.
yeah,
So like even more rare is kind of like what you're.
yeah.
They got to work on their labeling. I think they should call themselves proto-humans, neo-humans. Eh?
What about
Neo-sapiens?
Oh, there you go. That works.
The next evolutionary step in mankind. Well, now I'm just stealing Magneto's, right? Because he thought that they were the rise of the birth rate of like mutants. He saw as like mutants were superior. I don't know how. Do you know how they're made?
Mutants?
In Savage Dragon, like how are the freaks?
That I don't know. What I was going to say is it's been heavily implied over the years that it was actually the dropping of the atomic bomb that led to the birth of the mutant gene. Have you ever? That's why one of the nicknames for the X-Men is the Children of the Atom.
I never thought, huh?
But as for
that makes sense because they started popping up after World War II.
Yeah.
Or during, or like after the occurrence of the tests of nuclear armaments.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we see in the first X-Men movie, Magneto, as like a young boy, is at a concentration camp with his parents, and that's when his powers first manifest. And
I guess it depends on the year because the bombs hadn't been dropped yet.
But they had been testing them prior to that, though.
Right.
Anyway.
So let's just assume that's how the Savage Dragon freaks came about, too.
Yeah.
Why not? What about you? Would you tune in next week?
Yeah, I would.
I would.
Actually. I downloaded the entire series.
Oh, yeah. You did? Shit.
Yeah, the writing, structurally, the writing for this episode's a little hokey. It didn't really need the episode didn't need the whole subplot involving the attack at City Hall. It doesn't really add anything to the episode, and like the way it's resolved is kind of dumb. But I like the animation, I like the music, I like the characters, the action's really exciting. So yeah, I would tune in next week, and in fact, I think I'm going to. I'm gonna watch this back to back with cool. Wildcats.
There's hate spirits that just like fly around. There's laser guns. Street sharks are in the like. They don't have to be humanish, is what I'm trying to get at. They can be just fucking anything.
Yeah.
Some of them are just like a mishmash of like different like ideas. I'm like, hey, that guy's got Cyclops face, but like the beast's like body. Yeah, okay, he's a freak too. Get in the truck.
That guy has two faces. One stacked on top
shit.
of the other one.
Shit, I forgot about that guy. Sir, yeah, like guys got two faces and two sets of hair, and they take turns talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. And for anybody wondering, Germany fell in May 1945, but the first tests of the nuclear bomb were in July 1945.
Yeah.
So my instinct was correct. They had not started testing nuclear armaments until after not all of World War II, but after Germany fell.
So the X-Men
So X-Men movie lied.
fudged that then.
Well, didn't it imply that it was something that happened at birth, but manifested around puberty or shortly after?
Yeah, that's usually how it goes with mutants.
And wasn't it, what didn't those first movies imply that it was just natural?
Yeah, it was just a natural thing. The whole Children of the Atom thing is from the comics.
And I think the cartoon, maybe?
Could be, yeah.
Could be, yeah. I like that more. So what you're saying is, for us to get our superpowers, we got to visit Chernobyl.
We need to get nuked.
Oh, geez. Well, two things, one of three things will happen, and I hope it's the latter two. In order of least desirable to most, we just die, hopefully immediately. We die from the radiation poisoning.
Ooh.
Weeks to months later. We get turned into Fallout ghouls. We get X-Men powers.
Obviously,
Four
the
things.
X-Men powers.
Obviously, X-Men powers, right?
I think I could probably handle if I turned into like an intelligent ghoul, I think I could probably learn to live with it. Especially since I would, end up living for like hundreds of years.
And that's the trade-off. It's like, well, I don't have skin and I'm incredibly ugly. But if I've learned anything from the Fallout TV show, people still will think you're hot. The amount of thirst for the cowboy ghoul in the Fallout TV series was surprising.
Never in my wildest dreams did I expect Walton Goggins, who I know from being in the Shield,
Right?
like 20 plus years ago. Never in my wildest dreams did I think he would like become a thirst trap for like nerds like 25 years
Not only
later.
a thirst trap, but they're gonna make him look ugly and take away his nose.
Yeah.
Because they actually have like green screen, like
Yeah.
taking like the nose away with some CG and like probably green makeup or something like that.
Yeah.
But then the internet really thinking,
Yeah.
I never got that one. Like
Yeah.
calling him daddy and like actually like drawing fan art of him and like openly like talking about how attractive he is. And it's like, hey fellas, you don't get to use your height or your appearance as an excuse anymore. This man literally has no skin, eyelashes, or any hair on his face, and no nose. And there are thousands of people on the internet thirsting after him. Maybe it's your personality at that point.
Well, if you want to thirst after us, go to patreon.com/lazorcomb, LAZORCOMB. We're starting at the $5 tier. You get our bonus weekly Patreon exclusive podcast, the Super Lazorcomb Patreon Super Show. The $10 tier, you can pick a show for us to review a random episode of on this podcast, and a whole bunch of other goodies. So if you want to get in on that, go to patreon.com/lazorcomb. If you're watching this on YouTube, do me a favor. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment in the comment section. It really helps us out with engagement. Another way
Yeah, I understand the like and subscribe, smash that bell, YouTubers now, because it pushes it to the people that might want to watch it. And sometimes it pushes it to Ed, Ed and Eddie fans. And they don't
And
like what we have to say.
and sometimes our Manimal video has like 15,000 views.
I don't. It doesn't stand out in audio downloads, but on YouTube, uh, it's
Yeah.
it's fucking like wild. I think it's because of your thumbnail game on that. Our favorite actor,
Simon
uh,
McCorkindale.
Mick Corkindale, just making a very funny face. But so what
I
we're saying is we're not asking for manimal numbers. Jeez.
see.
But anything helps.
So every intro I ever made for Too Much Energon always ended with "Oh no, not that!" Ah. Any
Yeah.
intro I make for this podcast is always going to end with a fade of Simon McCorkindale doing that face.
Legend.
Legend.
We
Yeah.
we didn't know him before the show, but by God, he's a legend. He's our mascot for the show.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
How many Simon McCorkindale things did we? At least 3, right? I want to say at
We've
least
done a couple. Yeah. We should do more one of these days. Yeah. Join the Discord, link in the description. Buy a t-shirt, link in the description. Follow us on Blue Sky and TikTok. Also, links in description. A lot of links down there. We will be back next week with the next installment of Image Month, which is Todd McFarlane's Spawn. And I had the thought earlier. After that, we should keep the Image train going and do Witchblade.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, geez, my voice left me because I got excited for McCorkindale. We should do Witchblade.
McCorkin month.
McCorkin month. The McCorkin cast. That
Yeah, there we
yeah,
go.
yeah. There. Oh, he died young. Damn.
Yeah, he died of cancer, I think, back in 2012.
2010. I have his page open now. 2010, 58. Well,
2010.
rip legend.
Yeah, rest in peace.
If anybody wonders what Witchblade is, you didn't see cosplay images in the early 2000s. I see.
Yeah, there's a couple Witchblade shows, actually. There's the live action Witchblade show from the early 2000s, and there's also an anime from
I did not know.
mid to late 2000s. I say we do both of them.
Oh, shit. We're going in. There was a movie?
The movie was like it was a TV movie that led to the TV show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, movie that led to the TV show. Huh.
So Todd McFarlane's Spawn has 18 episodes spread across 3 seasons. So at the old random number generator, I'm hitting one random number between 1 and 18, and here we go. Where it stops, hell only knows.
18. Come on. Oh.
14. Season 3 episode.
I will write this down.
Season 3, Episode 2, Twitch is down. Officer Twitch Williams investigates the Alley murders and confronts Spawn. After Twitch learns too much about the Alley murders and Jason Wynn, Wynn sends the dirty police chief Banks out to kill Twitch in order to keep him silenced. Well, and there
Twitch
it is.
is down, baby.
Twitch is down.
Twitch is down. That was episode 14. All right. Witchblade, baby. It's witching time. I know nothing about Witchblade.
Witchblade will be another one, much like Wildcats, where I end up talking about the comic a lot because I read a lot of Witchblade back in the day.
Oh, okay. So. I just know that she's mostly naked and she's got a claw. And
yeah, and the TV show, and I'm going to be perfectly honest, I was a teenager when the TV show was on, and I hated the fact that in the TV show she doesn't, like, her outfit isn't like what it is in the comics. so I didn't watch the show because of that.
Imagine making a TV show and not making her the sexy full body Witchblade.
Yeah, I know.
Well, did her just her hand like transform?
Yeah, she wore a gauntlet, like a. It's actually really cheap looking. It's like a medieval fair level like knight's gauntlet with like a sword attached to it.
So she puts up her hand and says, "I have the gauntlet," and like the sword appears.
By the power of Witchblade.
By the power of Witchblade, I am Witchblade.
Oh, I'm surprised no one has asked us to watch He-Man yet.
Don't give them any ideas. Or I guess it depends on how you feel about He-Man.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, we'll be back next time with Spawn. And until then, I've been the Savage Siege, one of your hosts.
And I'm your other host, NeoCal.
Thanks for listening. We will spawn you next time.
Ugh. We'll what's the scary clown monster guy called?
Clown.
Is it just clown?
It's just clown.
I really overthink the naming schemes of things. We'll clown you next time. Both of those I don't like. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I feel like I kind of grew up adjacent enough to Family Matters pop culture that I feel like I missed out on actually watching it.
Oh, I used to watch Family Matters.
Yeah, I never as a kid, I just watched like what was like on. We've talked lots and lots about this or whatever. Unless it was a show I really liked. Reboots on it like this time on this time of the week or whatever. I never caught Family Matters.
My magician qualities led me to be very aware of what shows were on and when, and to seek them out.
Your magician qualities.
Yes.
And my what's the slang for ADHD? But basically, you know what? It's funny. We talked about this, but we never talked about how stereotypical each of it is. I could never stick to a show or remember when it was on or write down when it was on, which feels very like ADHD, right? Like always seeking novelty and always moving on to something more, not keeping up with something. And then the autistic urge to memorize TV shows and times and TV blocks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
and now look at us.
And now look at us making millions podcrafting.
Making millions, if not hundreds.
But yeah, I used to watch Family Matters. I don't have any real like nostalgia or fondness for it though. It was kind of just there.
It was just there.
Yeah. I did like the episodes though where he transformed into Stefan.
Right. The super suave. It shows the actor's chops.
Where it was just the actor who played him, like being himself, more himself.
Well, he was also supposed to be like really suave and like charming and well spoken, like the opposite of Urkel, right?
Yeah.
Oh, here's a
fantasy of every awkward person ever, no doubt.
Right?
To be able to just transform yourself into someone cool. I know I've had that fantasy many times throughout my life.
And then whenever you move, you're like, okay, now's my chance. I'm gonna be completely different, and I'm gonna. Yeah, I wonder if that's like kids that grow up like us, or and that's like we're an outlier, or if that was actually like very common.
I think it's
The
pretty common.
fantasy of, yeah, the fantasy of like moving or just like going to a completely new school and like acting completely different and changing your life.
To be fair, when I was a teenager and I moved to Saskatchewan, now this is Saskatchewan, mind you, but I actually was a lot more popular than I was out here.
You had to compete with the Saskatchewanites. Maybe they were just cooler, like
Maybe.
just more chill and like more accepting.
Um, I don't
You
know.
don't think
I
so?
did go to a school for for bad kids though, so maybe that has something to do with it too. We were all
Bad
kind of
kids, bad kids.
we were all kind
We're
of
all kind of
rejects.
freaks. Yeah.